And very soon, we will be live on the channel. And we are live. So now I say, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaylene, the Drow Warlock. Warlock Cleric.
Ooh. Clairlock.
Clairlock. Yeah, I guess Clairlock, yeah, definitely works better than Warwick.
Yeah.
Anyway, Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift, the Changeling Bard.
Hello, friends.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn, a Dragonborn Cleric.
Good evening.
My microphone just shifted because my dog laid down against the base of the microphone stand and just shifted it a few inches. I think it'll be okay. Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock, Gnome Wizard.
The more I learn, the more questions I find, but I'm starting to refine them into categories.
And last but not least, Chooch Schubert as Sequential, the Warforged Artificer.
Hello, hello.
And you are accumulating a whole cast of characters here with you in your portable magic tower. You've got Buster, the Grey Render, currently magically shrunk down to the size of a guinea pig. Makes him a lot easier to manage, although he is still quite a chewer. You have also now adopted Evan, who is a friendly young lad from Gorn, who was hired to spy on you, but then you converted him to your cause, and now he's following you, except that you may have infected him with extraplanar nightmares. So, whoops.
We need to work on our agreements. We need to have the fine print expanded.
An existential doubt.
Well, you have a template to work from. You signed those contracts for Yobert.
So you think you want to be a pocket protector. FAQ number 1.
Yeah. So right now he's freelance, but yeah. Anyway, last week we were out a couple of players, and so we revisited a pair of kobolds who serve the dragon spirit Sitslebik, who the pocket protectors are now on their way to see, in the hopes that he can help them with a resurrection spell for Trandonel the Knight, who was rescued, from a magical prison. He is now out and maybe will be okay, but he did die in the process, so whoops. But you have his body, and he is magically preserved for now, so he can hopefully be resurrected. You've all also, though, discovered that you seem to have been possessed, inhabited, infected, corrupted, cursed, one of those, something like that, with some strange nightmarish entities. But maybe this crazy pipe you found in the magical auction might have some kind of a magical ability to separate the nightmare from the host. Maybe? It's not proven yet, but it's a working theory. So, as we left you off last time, you were still riding north to the Temple of Sitslebik. Carolina had observed, after some careful observation, you are still being followed by airships, too. So, got that going for you. So, pocket protectors, what do you want to do?
I have a question. Was Carolina riding as Carolina or someone else?
No, I was Irinel, Dark Elf.
That's what I thought. Okay. So
Call me whatever. I answered all the names. So.
Did Nedry come back in and tell us what?
Well, I think he only just leaned out the door anyway.
Yeah.
So the question, I think, the pressing question right now is, you're not going to make it to the temple before dark, but you could keep riding after dark if you wanted. But in the meantime, uh, do you want to stop sooner than that? If so, when and how? Versus if you want to keep going, what do the rest of you do in the meantime?
Well, I can't see in the dark, so
Yeah, it would probably have to be me.
Well, seeing in the dark isn't a problem. For me, anyway. But being attacked in the dark is.
I can do it. Or Nedry and I can do it. That way we have each other's back.
Yeah, and Nedry can use telepathy to call for help if something happens.
No, because you're in a different plane.
You'd have to leave the door open
Yeah.
and stand by the door. It would be rather inconvenient.
Yeah.
The big
But-
thing is, where do we want to get to tonight? If we're being followed anyway, wait, if we're being followed, but they're not trying to capture us, I wonder if they're just wondering where we're going.
That seems like.
Hmm.
But how did they know where we were anyway? I swear, I think someone's watching us somehow.
Well,
Yeah,
there may be ways to track some of the corruption. I've been working on a few of them myself, but I haven't figured out the theories entirely. After all, if it's a presence in the world, it should be trackable. And if they're aware of it and other things, then it makes sense to me. It might even be through some scrying spells, I suppose.
Yeah. So are you okay with riding with me, or do we want to stop?
Well, I don't mind riding with you at all for a while, but it's a matter of when do we decide to stop. If we
Well,
press on, we might be able to get to a better shelter, but most of us, except maybe Evan, none of us know this area.
Well, didn't Lynn say that we're only a couple hours from the temple?
Well, so to clarify, you got started really early in the morning. You've been going for a few hours and it's midday. So you still actually have most of the afternoon before it would get dark. But after it gets dark and then a few hours that you would arrive. So you actually, could keep going for a while before it would get dark. But the question is just that you would still not arrive before dark. So it's a question of just when you want to stop.
Well, it's still daylight out, so I'm not good to go out there right now. I mean, that would really bother my eyes even with the hat on.
I mean, the thing is, if you don't have any pressing business, we can just go ahead and say you decide to keep riding for the rest of the daylight today, and you all busy yourselves with, miscellaneous downtime business that we can discuss.
I'm good with that.
yeah, that sounds good.
I think it would be good to ride through to the temple and not stop. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are basically sleeping, or not sleeping, but riding through the afternoon into the evening at this point. Are you just letting Carolina just do all the riding all day, or are you going to switch out, or?
I think somebody should switch out. I mean, she's been riding for hours by herself.
Yeah.
And I did this morning.
well,
So-
you guys did all the fighting though. I'm just like do 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 do.
Yeah. Well,
I
Yeah,
don't
but
mind
lucky
Happy to
day.
take a
riding.
turn.
I
The
don't
other
mind
thing-
riding with someone, but I can't steer horses.
Well, I would prefer it if you go with me, like after dark, because then we can both see.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to take a turn in the day. I'm not good
Yeah.
at night either.
My only worry is
Because a metallic man is not at all conspicuous.
He could disguise
wear a cloak.
himself.
Yeah, I've got a cloak.
You can also do disguise self.
I think my disguises only last like an hour. So
Hmm.
well, but then again, you're not like constantly passing a stream of people.
Oh, it's true. Yeah. I could just pop it on as needed. Disguise self. Yeah. Well, now.
Why do I imagine it as sort of a Halloween mask with a magnet? You just go, thunk, put it on when you need to, and then the magnet sort of wears out, has to be recharged.
So I think that we don't have to belabor the logistics of it too much. It's not complicated. You all can figure it out. So,
Okay.
but in the time that each of you has to spend in the meantime, what do each of you kind of spend your time doing?
So I was thinking about using the pipe again and trying to attune to it. Um, and I wanted to discuss that with everyone because when I first got pulled in, my magic didn't work, and I know Nedry was gonna like investigate it, but I didn't realize that he meant to actually try and attune to it. And if he gets pulled in and his magic doesn't work, he's much more vulnerable than I am.
It does pose a rather difficult problem.
Right. The other thing is like you pulled me out before I was able to get through some part of the nightmare maze scenario. Um, and I'm wondering if I had actually found my way out or defeated the nightmare in that maze, would that have gotten rid of that nightmare corruption for me permanently, or at least until the next time I got infected? But would it stop the nightmares for a while? Because if it does, then we can prep everyone to go through that and maybe figure out if there's a way that we can help our friends who are fighting the nightmare in the maze from outside, or maybe even go in with them.
It would be strange if more than one person can go in, at least in the way that you went in, because you were effectively embracing the magical attunement and becoming part of it. So more than one person can't normally do that with an item. It would be possible to test that maybe, but
let's say I get attuned to it. I mean, I was trying to get attuned to it the first time, but if I successfully attune to it, maybe I'll learn more about how I can use it to help get rid of everyone else's nightmares.
Well, do you feel that you had succeeded in attuning to it and that result was what was supposed to happen?
Whatever you did dispel magic, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that pulled me and the nightmare out before I either could fight it to a standstill or win, or actually find the way out of the maze. And it was incomplete. I never actually attuned to it.
But you'd be doing it without your magic, is what you said.
Yeah.
But you would have your sword and shield back this time.
I would have my sword and my mace and my spear. I've got that hammer drill spear, Swiss Army spear thing that I think freezes things and drills things. And I don't know, it probably, cleans your teeth for you too. But, if I'm ready for a fight, I think that would be better. And I don't know, is there anything else you can learn Nedry without actually attuning to it yourself?
Well, there are longer studies you can do, but nothing quick like a spell. It would be mostly a matter of trying to extend the identify spell and trying to understand what the corruption is. As I said, I've had some theories about trying to detect and track the corruption. And if that's truly what's in there, maybe even finding a way to get rid of it. The spell magic reduce the effect that it was having on you, the hold, but it didn't necessarily destroy that source of corruption.
No.
My worry is I don't know how long to wait. You were in there for a while and we pulled you out. But how
It
long
was
would we
not
wait
very
if you...
long. You didn't wait very long because
Right.
he disappeared, and then you cast a spell like, you know, less than
2 or
30
3
seconds
rounds.
later.
Yeah.
But if you were in there for a while trying to solve this maze, that could take hours, depending on what the maze is shaped like. And if you're fighting a creature at the same time, I mean, if you're in there and you get really hurt, there's not much we can do.
I know.
Do you think it was another plane of existence like the tower? Because if it's not, maybe you could keep in touch with him telepathically.
Well, the telepathic speech is only people I can see.
Oh, okay.
But if it is another plane of existence, I'm not familiar with extraplanar travel spells yet. But maybe at some point we would be able to.
Hmm.
And then we could bring other people into these pocket dimensions.
I wonder if Buster would try and find a way into the to where I went in the pipe.
You could. I wonder if you had him with you, if he would go with you because he's like your best friend.
It
Yeah.
depends on the shape of the trap. Most of the traps we've met so far, like the bag or the cards, they're sort of singular target. If this target's an area, then perhaps anyone standing near you would also be caught in, which would be both good and bad.
Well, we were pretty close when he did that, and we didn't get sucked in.
Maybe we'll be touching it.
Make an Arcana check, Nedry.
Button. How to press button. Nat 20 or 28.
All right, yeah. You know that it is more typical that magic items that require attunement could only be attuned by one person at a time. And you don't think that this one is different than that exactly, but because it's already doing something unusual in the attunement process, it's not outside the realm of possibility that whatever it did to Zinhorn, it could do to more than one person at a time. And what it would presumably require is multiple people focusing on the carvings all at once.
So here's my theory, and it's slightly missing parts, but we're going to ignore those for now. The magic behind this is not this sort of magic that I typically learn. It's from an entirely different theory altogether, as we've seen so many times with this sort of corruption or ancient Dinotherian magic, and this seems to be some relative of that. If that's the case, then it might have broader powers than we usually encounter. And we may be able to simultaneously attune. Although in this case, attunement might actually be just opening the trap. It's a little bit confusing, but that might be the case. So the bigger question at that point then becomes who's going in and who's staying out. As much as I'd like to see it from the inside, I have a feeling that the magic that I wheeled out here would be more useful in case things went into trouble.
Yeah. I mean, you said no magic, and that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that we should do this now, or should we wait until we maybe after we get to the temple? Because then maybe if we can bring back Trendanel, maybe he knows something about it that he could shed some light on it for us.
Yeah. But if we can't, we might be ahead of the game. And who knows how long it'll take before we can see Sitslebik.
Or if they're even willing to help.
Yeah.
I just think that there, and this is just me, I just think that there's so much going on right now that it's a risk that do we really need to take it right now?
Well, otherwise, we're going to have nightmares every night if we don't engage with this, which is going to make us way less effective.
I feel like I need a chart with relative weights and some sort of lines drawn on it.
Okay.
Because they're following us, but not interceding. But maybe they're following us to wait for there's an opportunity to intercede.
Well,
Or,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
Yeah, something worth interceding with. Maybe they're waiting for us to find something.
or maybe they're waiting for a large enough force to hit us with overwhelming force so that, you know, we don't have a chance to fight.
how do we even know it's, I mean, do we know who it is? Is it the Friends of the Emperor people, or
I
is
think
it,
it's the friend of the emperor.
or is it Nedry's creepy friend?
The,
Because I don't think they're the same person.
no, I don't think so either.
So I'm not
I agree
actually
with
in
you.
there to point this out to y'all, but just a reminder, Christiana said the Sitslebek's compound thing is all underground. So airship's not going to be able to go and
Well,
track
so
us that way.
there is an above ground temple, but that's not the direction that Sitslebik has expanded his domain.
Mhm.
He expanded his domain underground rather than across the surface.
Right. And maybe there's a way through there that, we could come out completely unseen by them.
Yeah, two different groups have found us already. However, they're finding us, until we get something to hide ourselves, the way the heroes of legend did.
Do you,
Um, I think we just have to deal with the fact that either party. What did you call your creepy friend? The adversary?
Right.
I think the adversary and the friend of the empire are just, they've got, the resources to find us wherever and whenever.
Well, the curious thing is we did seem to be safe in the tower at least.
Yeah, well,
They
they
didn't
can't get
breach
into
that.
the tower, right? But like, if we were all walking next to the horse, we have no idea if they would just descend on us.
I mean, it's a lot of what ifs all the time. We're not going to know anything. When, just like if you take somebody else into the nightmare pipe, it's
Right.
who knows what will happen. Just like with this, and honestly, I think that it might be a good idea to try to find out from Trindanel if he knows anything else about this, or maybe Nedry could try to talk to the gem and the little
With
man
Verpano?
inside.
I mean, I definitely want to talk to him. I have 1,000 questions.
Well, you could probably ask them all, but just the important ones first, of course. I mean, I know they're all important, but
Well,
I
can we
mean-
even talk to him?
we don't know. But I'm
Right.
saying, like, maybe Nedry could try to talk to him, and like you can't do speak with dead for what, 9 more days,
Not with the
Isn't it-
same, not with the same person.
right? So
What you learned about the gem, Nedry, is that this person you believe to be Rupino is subject to an imprisonment spell, so he's not dead. So speak with dead wouldn't work, but he is sealed inside the gem, and you think it's unlikely he would be able to respond.
I mean, the point of putting someone in a prison like that is so that they can't talk, I think.
it's just a thought.
The
I
only
mean,
way to do
there's-
it would be to enter the prison yourself. Or if, like the bag, there's a sort of waiting room, but
Mm.
it would be difficult to figure that out. And if you're wrong, you're trapped. So that would be.
Right. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you might be able to communicate with him while he's in there or not.
Well, you could, of course, use the gem to cast the spell to bring Trandanel back, and then also release Rupinel. But
Trindanel said don't do that.
that was certainly his opinion. Yeah.
Yep.
You also have Tanglefoot in the bag.
A minute. What if? Oh no, that wouldn't work. I was going to say, what if we cast the spell in the bag and release Rupino in a cell, and he's imprisoned. And I mean, he created this tower, so he's probably a pretty powerful magic user. So if we could get him in there pretty quick.
And probably Nedry is struggling with the sort of celestial mechanics here at the same time.
It's an anti-magic field, so taking the magic item in might negate the
Yeah.
field or
You
negate the
would not
magic.
be
These
able to
artifacts
ca-
are more powerful.
You would not be able to cast the spell from inside the cage.
Right,
Is the
right.
magic
But I'm
field.
saying like Nedry wouldn't automatically go into the anti-magic field because he's attuned to it, so he could take it in there, right?
It's also not necessarily obvious exactly where he would appear if he is released from the gem. I mean,
Right.
it's presumably nearby, but it's not like you have a bucket that you can dump him out into the cage.
Right. But
It's
I
hard
mean,
to aim these things.
we could be on guard and try to catch him right away. I mean, he's sleepy because he's been trapped in there and disoriented.
Well, for all we know, the inside is much like the small building. It's not just a simple inside, it's an entire scenario or possibly a lush garden. I mean, depending on how much they liked or didn't like him at the time. My concern is, well, I don't know either one of them, to be honest. I never really met Trindanel for more than a few minutes. And Rapano also, they were both from the same group who was trying to, well, destroy the darkness. But clearly there was some sort of rift between them.
Maybe
We've been presuming that Trindanel was on the side that we're on, but it's not entirely clear.
maybe one of them was corrupted by the nightmares. But which one? I mean, it's impossible to tell.
I mean, the irony of the fact that they were each trapped in each other's prison is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if the gem is necessarily
Yeah.
Trindanel's prison created, but
See, I wish we would have known that stuff before we talked to Trendanel, because then we could have asked different questions, but we needed to ask those questions
Yeah.
so that we could learn that stuff.
Well, you could keep him dead long enough to speak with Dead again, but then he would have been dead long enough that you need a next level higher spell to bring him back.
Yeah. It's not a good idea.
it's
Or
a
we could
little bit
just-
strange because I feel like we're trying to collect all of the Dinetherians.
Yeah, and
Gotta
that's
catch
what your
'em
friend.
And don't forget,
I
you
mean-
still have it's still trapped in the
cards.
Dune Maid deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if
can
we have
put
any
somebody
bones
in
left.
Mirror. I mean, we are going to have the whole cast and crew.
I wonder if we'll get a bonus because we caught them all.
It's a armor set completion
Yeah.
bonus.
I don't know. I just think that, I mean, we need more answers, but we're not going to get them unless we take a chance on something. I'm just not sure what.
I
It's
really
a
miss
lot.
libraries. They always hold so many answers.
Yeah. if only-
I'm willing to wait on the pipe, and so that just means we need to figure out what we're doing until the end of the day.
Well, we're going to the temple.
Well,
That's our final destination for the day.
right. Carolina is out riding the horse right now.
Incidentally, because this is a strategy conversation, it makes sense to me that you might all be together for that, even if the plan is to continue riding today. You know, 'cause,
Okay.
so I'm just feeling like I don't want Starla to feel like she's just having to sit there and not saying anything because even while
She's like, this ain't all this stuff. I have things I could input. Damn it.
Come inside, have some lunch.
Yes.
Here's
Yes, I am. I am quite starving. I'm a bit peckish, if you will.
I can take a turn on the horse next. But yeah, I mean, like, I could
I don't
let
know.
Buster out to run and kill things as we walk, as long as the horse isn't freaked out by him.
well, right now, all of you except Carolina are defaulting to one size smaller, I believe, is where we left it. So you would have to use the key to increase the size of the default size of the tower.
make it normal.
I mean, but it doesn't take a long time to do that. I'm just saying, I'm just reminding you that you have this extra layer of complication that you've given yourselves.
We have to pull off the road, change
Yeah.
the tire.
Change the tower.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it like if we go in, we shrink down, but if we come out, we like pop to normal size? that right?
Yeah,
not,
because I
not
didn't-
right now, because the issue is that if you want the tower to be small while people are in it, it needs to have the base level reality of the tower changed to small.
Okay.
And so if you want to be able to carry the tower around, that's what it has to be. But that means that anyone who's in it at the time that you change it is changed with it. So you could work it out so that it's like you could have all of you leave it except for Buster, say, and then it's regular size, and then you make it small with only Buster in there, and then the rest of you would still be, standard size that you can enter the tower and then come back out at the same size. But it's just a sequence logic puzzle is all.
Yeah.
Which,
I'm
like,
glad I'm not in
honestly,
charge of the
like,
tower.
if you have time to do stuff, none of this is a problem. It's only
Right.
something we need to keep track of in case you ever need to do something in a hurry.
I don't know. What do you think, Carolina? Do you have any thoughts on where we should go? What we should do?
I think we should keep going until we get there.
I know, but we're talking about like with the, should we maybe bring back both of them in the bag?
I'm a little hesitant to trust the word of Trendinil straight out. Because, well, we know that the tower was created, like one of the things that it does is that it looks at your dreams and it can detect the corruption, right?
Right.
So, and Rupino built the tower, right? So, I'm trying to like put this into words exactly. Like, what if he's the one that's not corrupted? And Trandinil trapped him, and Trandinil is the corrupted one.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
But if
And
we
of
think
course-
that Rupino built the tower, then he probably also built a little mansion and that whole scene playing out inside, which weirdly enough contained the item that he was trapped in. So maybe somebody else built that small building?
You've got two
Well,
ancient sorcerers trapped in mystical prisons, and one of them only tells the truth, and the other one only lies.
And one's got a fox, and the other one's got hens, and there's a
Well-
whole.
So there's also we have to think about like Isilda and Alistair. They clearly had the abilities to, well, at least use these really powerful things. So it's not outside the realm of possibility they knew how to create things like that.
I wonder if they
Maybe?
were affected by the corruption and the dreams too. Nothing in what we read of them so far seemed to indicate that, but we haven't
I
seen
don't
that
have that
much.
impression.
That's also another possibility. We could try to release Isolde. The problem with the cards as they appeared to me, though, as I was studying them, it's not exactly a certainty. It's more like playing cards.
No, but there are tricks around those too. But I understand that we don't know exactly what card she's in, and if
Yeah,
we can like pull a specific one, I don't know.
and if she gets released, she could wind up anywhere like within 100 miles
Or it could be
something.
a monster.
Or it could be a monster, right? So
So I know that we don't want to because he's yucky and mean, but maybe we should try to talk to Tanglefoot.
Ugh.
I know, but he has potential answers.
But he doesn't do anything for free, and the only thing he really wants is to be let out.
right.
I'm not okay with that.
No, I'll kill him before I let him out. I
Okay,
think he's pure evil, and I think he will do immense amount of damage.
okay, so what if he says, "What are you going to do for me?" And maybe somebody sticks a sword in the cage and says, "I'm going to not chop you up."
I'm not entirely convinced that Tanglefoot is pure evil. I mean, it's very possible that he's fallen under the sway of a very powerful artifact. And I would hope that that wouldn't automatically mean that he's evil.
I think that he's also an opportunist.
He's
But if
definitely
he's
that.
been corrupted for so long, maybe there's nothing good left.
But we won't know because we keep avoiding actually trying to talk to him.
And
That's
wouldn't
the
the
we
worst
never
curse
get
of all
anywhere when
be,
we do talk to him.
wouldn't the worst curse of all be something that convinces everyone else you're evil? I can handle curses now. I've studied what Zenhorn was doing, and some of the information, while the prayers don't exactly make sense to me, the mechanics of the magic do behind it. So if it is a curse, I might be able to help get it from him.
But you would have to take him out to do that because of the anti-magic field.
Yep.
We haven't talked to him since we opened the book, did we?
Yes, because we went in there and he knew.
Well,
Didn't
I mean,
we?
he directed us to the book.
Yeah.
I thought we
So-
went in there when we came back.
No, you didn't, because
Oh, okay.
you got all paranoid about whether or not he wanted you to look in the book. Was that all a trick? What was the whole what was it that he wanted? Because he had said he would give you answers if you put the book in his hands, and you decided you didn't want to do that. And you
Right.
speculated that it might have been a trick just to get you to look in the book yourselves, because he may have known that you wouldn't trust him and want to look in the book before you gave it to him, and so on and so on. And
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
he didn't he tell us that we could look in it as long as we gave it to him when we were done? He
Did
didn't care.
did Nedry have a chance to identify the book? I can't remember if up to what
you
time.
did, and that was the one that basically just gave you a little error message.
Oh, right.
Unknown.
Then the theory in magic is still difficult to comprehend.
So if we put the book in his hand, but he's still in the cage,
Well, these artifacts are more powerful than others. The circlet, for example, did allow me to circumvent the anti-magic field.
That's true. But
Yeah.
it didn't let you get out of my tangled up tentacle shadow evil.
We might be able to assume that was my fault.
I don't think so. I don't think that was your fault.
Do you want to try giving him the book?
No.
I really just want to know who he is. Or who he was.
I mean, do you think we've gotten everything that we need out of that book?
No.
Do we think that it's going to do something else
I
in
mean,
the
it's a
future?
powerful artifact, and if he wants it, it's for a reason, and he might just be able to, blow past us and escape, or
There is something that I didn't try with the book. I didn't try attuning to it. It may have hidden magical abilities that aren't visible because its magic is so different. But it wouldn't be the first magical book that I've attuned to for that purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try.
yeah, that seems like the safest course of action for right now.
And like Zinhorn and I can totally break the curse on you.
Yep.
No, forewarned is forearmed. Master said that once, and it really didn't make any sense because I was picturing 4 actual arms. I think I understand the context now.
Well,
make sure I actually have.
I do have it.
Yes, I do.
And I have a spell slot too for it.
Same here.
Mhm.
I have two.
I did it because I thought that it would help you, but it didn't work.
Just so we don't spend too much time on it, I don't think I ever gave you the impression that the book was something you could attune to.
It's more of that there's a magical unknown,
Sure.
and yeah,
What I'll say is that you, after studying it a bit, feel that like that's not how it works. It does not attune. It just does what it did.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, like most of these items, it may just be a trap
Maybe
meant for
the
someone who's knowledgeable.
well, we mean we opened it and then there was that huge like I don't know, that sound that everyone heard, and then there was that big storm. And then there was that other big storm that they were telling us about that seems like it might have taken place when we opened the book. So, I mean, maybe he wanted us to open it to unleash some kind of horrible business.
If that's true, that's good in a way, because it means the book as a prison could be potentially used to hold something like that. If you could figure out how to do it. I'll need to read it again.
as
Yeah.
Mark brings up the Denetherian book text and goes, I need to read this again.
So, do you think we should try to talk to him again? I know you guys don't want to, but he is literally the only person who has any kind of alleged answers. And he's right here.
Yeah.
He's already alive. He's not imprisoned in a gem.
No, he's imprisoned in a bag.
Right.
If we just show him that we have the book, but don't give it to him, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we should open it again because who knows? Like it might unleash something else and do whatever it did again. Or maybe it was just like a one and done. I have no idea. But I don't know that I want to test it.
In that case, it sounds like we're extremely risk averse to anything except getting to Sitslebik. So why don't we just table everything and get to Sitslebik and worry about things from there.
Okay.
I mean, they might even know something. I've never talked to a spirit like that before. Oh, I wonder if it knows things about how spirits are actually made.
I don't know that we'll actually be able to talk to Sitslebik. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I was thinking like talk to one of the clerics or something, but talk to the actual spirit? That's a big ask.
I don't know. I talk to the Mistress of the Dark like all the time. It's totally possible.
I mean, it seems like we're here.
Different.
Why?
Sitslebik is a spirit who takes the form of a dragon.
Oh, didn't know that.
A big part of the reason they take that form is because a lot of their sort of primary worshippers are kobolds who are very into the idea of worshiping a dragon.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Best behavior.
And he was very friendly with the heroes of legend, largely on account of them giving him a substantial power boost from being a minor river spirit to something of actual power. So, he was appreciative to them.
True.
Wait, Lynn, write a song about him on the way that you could sing to him that would inspire him to
Ugh,
assist
I
us.
don't think you know how this works. I've never been there, and I've never met him. I don't know. I mean, I'll try, but
So,
I mean, we are
if
going there from your recommendation.
yeah. Uh, I'm kind of laughing because it was like half an hour ago that I said, if you want to just hand wave the time between now and arrival, we can do that. And no, I mean, all of this is good discussion, except that you're kind of just going around in circles because you don't want to do anything. Cause
We
it's
don't want to
all-
do anything that has
You're-
any risk.
You're all in
Yeah.
in a nothing ventured, nothing gained type of scenario here. So you're going to
Yeah.
have to, but certainly one of your options is to say, put everything else on hold, go to Sitslebik or his area at least, and see if you can finagle a raised dead for
Right.
Trandonau, right? Like that is one path forward, and if you decide that's the one that you want to focus on right now, we can do that. And so when I asked what you're all getting up to in the meantime, mostly I was just like, yeah, I'm going to spend some time reading, or that sort of thing. Which, like,
I'm gonna
hey,
play
no,
with
it's fine.
Buster.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm just saying, yeah,
Well, I mean, all of that did sort of stem from what Paul was gonna do.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
you think
because
that's
you
a
talked
good
about
idea?
tuning to the pipe again, right? So
Yeah.
it was just a question
Yep.
of whether that's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what we had ended last session with is that maybe Nedry was going to do it, and he even de-attuned to one of the Ring of Resistance that he had. But, I mean, obviously, that's all up to you. So, in the meantime, though, if you decide, just going to put it all on hold, going to wait to go talk to, whoever you can at Sisselbeck's temple. So, what other more inane things do you
probably
get up
not
to?
sleeping
Mm,
because that was
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, I would probably go and look in on Evan and see if he's having nightmares.
yeah, he does seem to be.
Well,
Okay.
you'd know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because so that would draw me to him, and I would wake him up
Okay,
and comfort him
all
with
right.
shadows and darkness.
I'm
Hold
here
on.
to save your happiness.
Yeah. You wake him up, and he is startled. Looks at you with is eyeliner's a mess.
Yeah.
Kind of sunken eyes. He looks a little rough, and he's just like, oh, what happened? Where? Oh, right, the tower.
Yeah, you were having a really bad dream.
Oh man, I was.
I saw it. It
You-
was not a good dream.
No, it was. He was having a nightmare, essentially, that he was a little kid again, and that like everyone was growing up but him, and that like the whole world was just like moving past him, and he could never advance beyond just this very small child level, even though the world was
Yeah.
getting more and more dangerous. That's what he was having a nightmare of, and you think that he is suffering from a level of exhaustion in the same way that a couple of you are.
I'm gonna tell him, without him even telling me like the dream that he had.
Mm-hmm.
You are grown up and you are moving forward when you chose to come with us.
How did you know that's what I was dreaming of?
Well, see the tower that we're in? I'm attuned to the key. So anybody who dreams within the tower, I see it and I know. And that's why I came to wake you up.
It's kind
Because
of
I don't want you to be afraid.
It's kind of a weird thing for a key to do.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird tower, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but like it seemed like that the tower's thing was it got real small, and now the key does dreams. It just doesn't seem like there's a common theme there. Or maybe I'm just.
There's a lot of stuff going on, Evan, that we don't really even
Yeah.
understand. So this is like a curse that twists people and haunts them. And I know you're
Am I
afraid.
cursed?
I wouldn't say completely cursed, but you're kind of haunted by these nightmares now because there's a darkness in the shadows that isn't good.
He kind of stares into space for a moment and looks to you and says, "But you're fighting those things, right?"
Yes. We're doing everything we can to stop it. And I think that it's things like that that give the Mistress of the Dark a bad name.
All right.
That
well,
twists shadows into something evil and dark and terrible. But they don't have to be.
So make a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh, wait. 9. I clicked it twice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I
But the
think
first one was
he's just
9.
like, I don't know. I'm just so confused
I know.
and hungry.
Well, the good thing is there was some food in the kitchen area downstairs. There's still some down there. So why don't you go get something to eat and, think about how much you've grown when you decided that you wanted to come with us and make a difference.
He looks like he's just still kind of half in another state of mind. So he's not. You're not penetrating much. Although he does go downstairs to the kitchen and starts making a sandwich.
So that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nedry's up to some magical research. He's trying to understand the Denetherian magic.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be using the ritual casting of detect magic to try to expand it to cover that as the first step towards creating a new branch of spells to understand these things.
Well, you could potentially be working on that with sequential, since he's got this, the machine speak thing that sort of lets him intuit how those things work.
Always happy to collab.
Excellent. I've drawn up a list of scenarios that I'm trying to test.
Are you studying any particular artifact in like specifically, or? I didn't mean to cut off the conversation. I was just.
No, I'm just trying to think if Iseld's bag was radiating any of that. I don't. Well, actually.
I mean, you didn't get that impression initially, but it also does things a lot differently than a standard bag of holding. So it's.
I guess I think Zaleen was holding on to the Denetherian book, if he could use that as the subject, because it was the one that definitely gave a does not compute kind of thing.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're trying to unlock its secrets and understand what the thing might be.
So do go ahead and you can, if you're studying that, you can conversate about that. Come on, go on, conversate.
While I'm digging through the book, I accidentally touched the head thingy.
The head thingy.
You touch it and it feels like a head thingy.
I'm like,
Circle.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, just touching it, as far as you can tell, just touching it with your hand, brushing your hand across it, doesn't seem to.
Doesn't feel evil. I don't say that out loud, though. I keep that to myself.
So, sequential.
Yeah.
I know that your enhanced senses tend to work on machines, but do you understand anything more about this book? I can't even see it, magically speaking. It just registers as a complete unknown.
I mean, I can touch it and see if it has any machine-like properties, but guessing since it's a book, it won't.
Well, you do get something. What I'm going to suggest here is that sequential, you can make an Arcana check with advantage because Nedry is helping you to process. Because Nedry
Cool.
cast Identify and got sort of an error message, but perhaps that in context
Right.
with what you get, you can get a more complete picture.
Yeah. Really. 18.
That's not bad. So I was, and that was with advantage? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this book is primarily designed to do exactly what you saw it do and nothing more. Meaning it presents the story with elaborate allusions leading up to a point where there's a sort of magical trap that has a way out that you all discovered. Right? And so the book doesn't do anything more than that. But what you get a little bit of a sense of, and this is hard to put into words because it is this machine speak that you're picking up on. It's a little bit like comments in the code, so to speak. And it's not literal in words, but you do get a little bit of an impression that its presentation as a children's book is deliberate and not because it's actually intended for children. In fact, I think, go ahead and make an insight check as well.
10.
10. It's hard to say for sure because you, like I said, you get this feeling like it's like it's a little bit like the magic talks about the presentation as a children's story as though it's like camouflage.
Okay. And I relay that verbatim.
Is there a way to remove the camouflage or get past that particular layer?
It's not that it's not a children's book. It's that the reason it's a children's book is not because they wanted a story for children.
It would be easier to hide something like this in children's books because no one would ever look there for important things.
Sure. That's kind of brilliant.
Although I'm still not sure why it was in that vault. Someone kept it there separate. Maybe Tanglefoot. Tanglefoot put it there. We're fairly certain of that. To hide it from someone else who might find it. Or to intrigue someone who did find it. I'm still not much further ahead, but maybe with your help I'll be able to figure out more of this magic and be able to do more analyses of these other items that we keep finding.
Yeah, it's definitely crossing realms that I've never seen mixed before. It's crazy that this can seem so old, like how it could be lost or, I guess, hidden.
Buried.
Really for good reason, right?
It was a mission to bury it. It was a mission to hide all this stuff. Maybe because it would have been found by Izel. But the elaborate place that he hid this suggests he had time to hide it. And there were also those other things that were there with it too, which also sort of suggest a trap. But you were able to take a closer look at those items, those creatures too, right?
Yeah, the little spider things that came out of the.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They're more along your lines, really.
Yeah. They're clearly, in the machine realm,
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
solidly.
Tr- You mentioned that Trendenel reacted to seeing you. And in the book, it describes the creation of something like you, which might mean that you actually are either a resonance or perhaps an actual source of Dinotherian magic. I might learn more about Dinotherian magic by actually studying you, with your permission and help, of course, if it's the same source.
Yeah.
Do you
Uh,
think that your creator, how would he have known about this? How is he connected?
Yeah, I've been wondering that. I mean,
Have you had any
it
luck
could
with
simply be that
Caboose?
he had stumbled, upon something and was just experimenting, but I suppose he could have been mixed up in all this, but he didn't have a whole lot of
If
deep
you
social life.
if you are involved, or rather your creation involves this, that actually might be the reason why he vanished. Someone
True.
wanted to erase the knowledge.
True.
Didn't you say the cipher in your master's notebooks was similar to another cipher that we've seen?
Yeah, there's glyphs that are exactly. They're similar from that spell book,
The partial
torn
spellbook,
spell book.
or the partial journal.
Right. Or yeah.
So
Maybe I can help you decipher some of that sometime.
Well,
so I'm,
yes,
I'm not
I'm
I'm not
trying to.
trying to cut you guys off, but you are kind of you're retreading well trod ground
Yep.
at this point.
Yeah.
So
It's been a while. It's been a while
so
for some
I'm
of this
not
ground.
trying to cut off. I like in conversations, but I think you guys have got yourself in a situation where you're kind of circling the
Yeah.
same path.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think at some point Zinhorn was going to relieve Carolina
Yes.
for ride for a while. What I'll also say is that as it starts getting into the later afternoon and evening, it will now have been 24 hours since you last took your long rest, which I'm not making you make any checks for right now. It's just a matter of like, you will have been up all day at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can decide if that affects anything else that you're doing. But so if Zinhorn takes the shift riding,
Yeah.
what do you get up to, Carolina? Do you have any?
I was trying to think if we had any like potions that would just knock you out that maybe you wouldn't dream. So, probably talking to Zalian about that.
Well,
Anything that will render me unconscious and I just won't like have any thoughts?
I mean, I can kind of monitor you while you sleep, and if you start to have a nightmare, make you wake up right away.
Well, I think it's the same thing will just happen when I go back to sleep. I can't stay up forever.
What if? I wonder if I removed the curse from you, if you would stop having nightmares.
When you tried removing curse on Zinhorn after
Mhm.
fighting the other thing, it didn't seem to have any effect.
Oh, that was just because we thought he was cursed from the pipe. But
Oh, okay, well,
yeah, I didn't think that at that time that they were related. We thought that he was cursed from attuning to the pipe or something.
yeah. Okay, well, so I think that you have sort of probed with the remove curse spell on yourselves since then, and it doesn't seem to find anything it can get its hooks in,
Okay.
magically speaking.
Maybe I can just get someone to hit me really hard.
I mean, I could probably, I could do something like that, like knock you out, and then just bring you back to so that you're still alive. But I
That
mean,
seems like a bad idea.
spare the dying. It totally works. You're stabilized. You're just unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine, Carolina. I will kill you in the morning.
I'll Eldritch blast you until you fall over.
Yeah, I think maybe I don't like that idea.
Okay.
Let's not do that.
Okay. It'd just be easier than like me punching you. That would take a lot longer. I'm just saying.
Mm. Well, I mean, probably just go to sleep. Maybe nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pray over you while you sleep, and I will watch out and try to wake you up
All right.
if I sense that
I
you're having
will
a
say
nightmare.
You
that
can be
right
riding a
now
horse.
is about the time that you could probably get a long rest in before getting to Sitslebik. If you wait any longer than that, then you'll arrive before it would have finished. But that's the timetable is up to you guys.
Probably just go ahead and try to sleep.
Okay.
Is anyone else trying to sleep?
Yeah, I'm tired.
I think
can't.
Andrew would try not to, but he would fall asleep on his book writing as
Okay.
usual.
Sure.
Well,
I'm
we
trying to
won't.
decide if I want to use this potion of possibility before I go to sleep.
Mm.
Hmm. Seems like a really cool thing, and I don't want to but also I don't want 2 levels
Risk.
of exhaustion.
Take some risk.
Yeah. So we have Evan is awake. Sequential, Nedry, and Carolina, and Zaleen. You're gonna try long rest, or
I'm gonna wait a little bit
Okay.
because I will.
you can
be
sort of
like-
do your non-trance part.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, bear in mind though that if you're gonna give, if you're gonna Zaleen and Nedry were gonna take over for Zinhorn at sundown, there's not time for a long rest before that.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't going to.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna watch over everybody else.
All right.
And I'm going to use the potion of possibility. I may as well.
Okay. Let's see. So I think, yeah. All right. So, and Nedry falls asleep anyway, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, Lynn, you are performing again on stage. And this time, you seem to have full control over your body. Whew. It's a relief. There was a moment there on stage where you had this fleeting worry that somehow you weren't going to be able to control your transformations, but that's fine, and it's all going really well, and you're singing your songs. But then what you start to realize is that the audience doesn't seem to be reacting like you expected. They are not, like seeming to really even enjoy the music. They're all just sort of like transfixed. And then with horror, you start to realize that as you sing, they are starting to transform, developing strange, monstrous features. And
that's not good.
you can't make yourself stop singing. And the more you sing, the more they change. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, that's not bad. That's an 18.
So yes, with an 18, you recognize in the dream, wait, I know what this is. This is another one of those nightmares I'm having. You are able to resist the effect. And you do wake up, but you are not suffering from a new level of exhaustion.
Still just the 1 level.
Yeah. And so as you, you don't yet recover the 1 level that you had, but you are able to sort of go back to sleep. And sequential,
Yeah.
you are dreaming about studying the book some more. And you suddenly find yourself not in the tower, but back in your creator's workshop.
Hmm.
And he's there explaining to you, you see, if the thing that you need to have happen requires someone to unleash terrible forces, the way that you ensure that it will happen is by making it appear innocent. And so you take something evil, monstrous, powerful, and you make it appear to be something that's none of those things. Like I did with you. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Of course.
Nicely done.
14.
14. You find that, as you are, uh, you reel with this strange revelation that he seems to have just made, and he says, "Oh, just wait. Just wait. You won't believe it. When everything finally comes to the right moment, you're going to do terrible things." And as you are, sort of within this strange trance, you sort of come out of it, but you are going to have another level of exhaustion.
2 strikes.
Mm-hmm. Nedry. As you are, let's see, I think you are in the laboratory of the back at the Lord Yobert's house. Like you're in that workshop area, and you realize though that like it felt very natural at first, but you sort of belatedly realize that you're not like in a chair or anything. You're up on one of the counters, and you're actually like strapped down. And everyone, like the rest of your party, including Sorashana, are kind of looking down and like talking to each other about you without ever addressing you. And they seem to be talking about like, yeah, it seems like we thought we got rid of the curse, but it actually stayed in there hidden the whole time. I don't think that there's any way to cure him. I think that there's just he's lost forever. Um, Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Is this a magical effect?
Yeah. Well, did we have you do it last with advantage last time? I don't remember.
Both of them were terrible anyway.
Okay,
So
well, yeah. So I'm meaning it should be consistent with however we did it before.
that's what I was trying to remember, and I couldn't. So
I think it is, yeah. So the advantage is fine. But in this case, with a 10, yeah, I think you're struggling to try to tell them that no, you felt the curse lift, it's gone, but you just can't make yourself say it, and then they all start to walk away from you, leaving you strapped to the table. But you go ahead and wake up, and you have a low level of exhaustion. So yeah, those of you, this is really more of a case of like you can go ahead and complete the long rest, and you get the other things that a long rest would grant you. Those of you who are going to sleep the whole time. So Zaylene, I think at some point the sun would be down outside, but Nedry seems to like he was tossing and turning a little bit for a while, but you sensed these dreams happening.
Yeah.
And I think part of your magical connection there, and after doing it with Evan, I think you kind of intuitively recognized that waking them out of it doesn't really seem to spare them anything.
Right. I actually will leave Nedry to sleep
Okay.
because I know that he needs it, and I will just ride by myself.
Okay. So I think Zinhorn, you come back in, and Zaleen, kind of you've discussed the landmarks that you're looking for, and you're riding out there at night, and I think it's a fairly overcast night, so it's pretty dark.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are a couple of moments where you spot, like when the clouds part for a little bit, you sort of the glint of like a fiery circle in the sky that you recognize to be, you know, part of an airship. But
Does it look like a
Oh,
small
okay.
airship?
I'm sorry, what, Paul?
Does it?
Does it look like one of those small, super fast airships?
It's a similar design, but you suspect it's not one of the small ones. But it's hard to see. You're only just barely getting a glimpse of it.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think though, just the same, you know, out there. First of all, I guess make an animal handling check for your experience with this horse.
Okay.
Oh, I assumed this is Zaleen doing that, Paul, not
Oh,
after
duh.
she relieved you. I kind
Sorry.
of assumed you've got to go to animal handling, so I kind of
Yeah.
figured it would be okay.
2. I rolled a natural 1.
Wow, yeah. So I think that this is not going to prevent you from doing what you need to do, but I think that there is just a little bit level. There's a level of tension because you're getting the impression that the horse is kind of scared of you rather than relaxed with you, and I can only imagine that you would rather it not be, but you kind of don't know how to make it not be. And, seems like yelling at it to not stop being afraid probably wouldn't help.
No, I'm just sad now because we were friends earlier, and now he's afraid of me. So.
Well, I think part of it you can get a sense too is that he's been riding all day too.
Mm,
So he's going to be able to make it to where you're going, but it's been a long day, and now it's dark,
yeah.
and you can see, but he can't really.
Right.
So he trusts you to lead him where he's going, but it's just you're getting the feeling that this is increasingly an unpleasant ride for him.
Okay.
What's this horse's name? We haven't established that.
Fancy guy.
Fancy guy.
He was super fancy.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I think you're making your way, and eventually, you all find ways to pass the time. Did anyone have anything else that they kind of like wanted to do?
I just want to make sure that I'm making progress with Buster.
Okay, I mean this is gonna like
Yeah.
he is not a domesticated creature.
I understand.
Yeah. So I will say that you are continuing to work on that. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so I think eventually, Zaleen, after a few hours of riding, you see up. First of all, the landscape has gotten a little bit more hilly. The swampy area still stretches out to the east, but it's a little bit hillier, and you see up on the top of sort of a little like almost a little cliff face with a switchback path leading up to it. You see the profile of the temple that is the part of the whole domain there that is above ground. And so you recognize that you're as much as arrived. Like you can
Okay.
go ahead and make your way up the path before you say anything, but you're essentially there.
I will do that, and then once I get up the path, I will actually set the tower up and make it big so that everybody can come out.
Okay.
And then once everybody's out, like I'll go in and tell them all that we're here. I will shrink it back down again.
Okay, so I will say that as you emerge from the larger tower, you see that there are a couple of humans and a half orc and a kobold who have come out with various sorts of weapons that they're kind of looking with wonder at this strange new tower that has just appeared so close to their temple. Who goes there?
Lynn, that's you.
Oh, that's my cue. Okay.
That's your cue.
Um, we are simple travelers looking to petition for. We have a wounded comrade, and we were hoping that we might seek some help at the Temple of Sitslebik.
Have you brought a tribute?
We could. What sort of tribute would be appropriate? We've never been here before.
All right, well, first of all, we don't want a tower there.
Oh, no
we
worries.
we can get rid of that.
I'm like, I shrink
Okay.
it down. Put it in my
Wow.
pocket.
Okay. Don't do that inside.
No, definitely not.
All right. So here's the thing. This domain's protected by Sitslebik the Great. So if you try any rough stuff or funny business, he'll come out and eat you or something. So no rough stuff or funny business. But you can come inside and explain what your deal is.
Certainly. We did take the body out of the tower, right, before she shrank it.
I'm
tell me.
assuming that Zinhorn did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are what, carrying him over your shoulder or something?
Yeah, I'll carry him over my shoulder.
Okay. As you are brought into sort of this initial like sanctuary of this temple, it's not that big, and you can actually see the remains of what might have been like a smaller sort of above ground settlement sort of around here. But it seems like this temple that's up on top seems to be the primary occupied structure here. They bring you in and they light a few more torches so that it's brighter in there. It had been pretty dimly lit before, but they are all in kind of matching robes, and they bring you in, and one of the human priests asks to examine the body and says, I know you mentioned an injured colleague. I hate to break it to you, but he
He's
is
dead.
dead. And it looks like he didn't have a very good time before that.
No, we only sort of, it took a while for us to find him and get him out. So,
Yeah.
yeah. He's very important. We need to bring him back.
So are you... I'm going to venture that you and your friends are not followers of the Great Sitslebik.
I am a cleric of Rashama.
There's a moment of like, yeah, okay.
I'm kind of a cleric of the Mistress of the Dark. Kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason I ask is because it is somewhat like you're coming to Sitslebik for assistance, presumably, with
Yes.
someone who looks as though they need powerful magic if you wish to them to be restored. Why would Sitslebik aid you?
Well, we would be willing to. This was the closest place we could find, and we are willing to pay for whatever service we need.
He
There was
kinda
that thing in the swamp too.
looks to the others, and they're like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Well,
There also was that yes, the spirit of Lake Elamon, perhaps may be reforming. It's possible. It's claiming to. That's the name it
Yeah,
gave anyway.
there's a spirit that's claiming it and seems to have amassed some power.
Yeah, there's a half a dozen of them down there that try that trick.
This one was
It's pretty
pretty
bad.
bad.
Well,
I
you
mean-
know what? I mean, some of them are bad. I'm not saying that they're great. I'm just saying that it's not a surprise to me that one of them might say it was the temp spirit of Lake Elma. I mean, technically, all of them kind of are.
This one was a murderer.
Well, that's not great.
No.
And also was able to possess someone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Sitslebik actually made a promise a long time ago to not interfere with all that. So I don't know what you want me
Well,
to
I
do
know the
about it.
story. And I know the story. I just thought it might be of interest. So if it's not, then it's not.
We share this information freely with you. What you do with it is your own business.
All right. Well, I apologize if I'm being a little short. It is late at night.
Of course.
Certainly, if you are willing to make a sizable contribution to the temple, then perhaps some of Sitslebik's magic could be, used to help you out. But this is something that is quite a bit. I think. What do we do for Race Dead these days? And they're like he goes behind the lectern and he's like pulls out like a book, flipping through it. Looks like going rate 750 gold. And so the priest that's like there with you says, bear in mind, of course, 500 gold of that is consumed by the spell itself. That's not, it's not all markup.
Do we have that much between us? I don't know. what
I
our
have
current tally is.
275.
I've got effectively 403 gold pieces.
Yeah, I've got effectively 400.
Yeah, we have it
We
between
have
us.
the money, and I think we have some things that are worth that kind of thing as well. I mean, we're not getting rid of the.
Yeah, no.
We are willing to compensate you is the point. And
yeah.
Well,
yes.
so
Or
sounds fair.
is there any problem we can help you with? Especially if you've made this commitment not to interfere in things, but if things are interfering with you, we could potentially interfere with them and you'd be in the clear.
I will give the opportunity for one of you to roll an insight check, sort of for the group, and you can roll at advantage because it's.
I've got +6.
Do it.
Yeah,
All right.
because this
Yeah,
can
I'm
kind of
gonna go
reflect
+1.
please give me a moment to confer with my colleagues, that sort of thing.
Right. I got a 16.
Well, it looks like with advantage you got an 18.
18. Yep. For some reason, it only. It rolls both of them, but it only shows me one of them.
Okay, I don't know
The
where.
first one. I don't know why, but I got an 18.
So, yeah, your impression is that these guys don't get people coming by very often. And because you kind of have not shown a lot of interest in like actually worshiping Sitslebik, you just want something. They're kind of treating you like, okay, well, get them to give us some gold, we'll do the thing, and then it'll go away.
Well, I would say that Lynn has probably been kind of yakking about the story.
Okay.
Like if it
Well,
didn't seem like
Yeah, all right,
like
well-
it was like super inappropriate. There just
Yeah.
wasn't a good time for me to
What
insert
else?
that.
No, that's fine. What I'll say is, you start getting into a little bit of what you know of the story, and you get just kind of a look of, yeah, we know that one.
Yeah,
That is
would
kind of what
probably
we do.
ask like various questions like, is this true? Is this true? What about this part? Is this true? I heard about this.
Um,
Um,
I think you get the
Going into
impression.
Nedry mode almost.
Yeah, no, no. Like, here's the thing: as disappointing as it might be to Carolina, they seem not merely disinterested, but borderline hostile towards this approach.
um,
Not like, I don't want to say like they're going to attack you. I mean, they don't like it and they want you to stop. That's what I mean.
Okay.
we have a young man that has come into our employ.
Is Evan, did you leave him in the tower? Is he not right
No,
there?
no, Evan is with
Okay,
us, and
okay,
I
yeah.
introduced Evan.
Okay.
Zaleen has introduced him to the teachings of the Mistress of the Dark. I, in turn, have introduced him to the teachings of Rashama, seeing that he is going to be, oh, he is a full adult. He should choose, whom he worships. I wonder if you have a few minutes to talk to him about Sitslebik.
Uh, there's a moment of just this like silence as they absorb that, and then they kind of just say, "Not really. We're kind of full up."
Um, do they seem like they're real?
Well,
Like, they don't-
so here's the thing. Like I said, for this, for like Zinhorn's insight check kind of reflects all of you kind of conferring together that these guys are not quite acting like you would have expected. But I think the result is they seem to be. They just really don't seem interested in engaging with you beyond. Right, you're gonna pony up some gold. We'll do some magic. That's fine. But all the more to get you out of here fast.
Okay.
Frankly, Lynn, I'm a little disappointed.
Don't talk about it out loud. Because they're already kind
Well,
of.
that'd be in her head because
Yeah.
he can do that.
Shoot him a glare.
All right, so let's scrape up the money and
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we'll have to bring up a guy to do it, but you make with the gold, we'll make with the raised dead.
all right. So I am gonna cancel out all 30 of my platinum, so that's 300.
So I would like all of you to make a perception check while you're working on kind of collecting all this gold.
13.
7, man, I'm rolling terrible today.
19.
All right.
8.
Trying to remember how to do disadvantage.
With exhaustion.
7.
Yeah. So, Zinhorn, it is when you kind of look up for a moment after, counting some of these coins that you see that, like, at the far back towards, behind where, like, this lectern is, and you realize that, like, this place does not look like it's used much. But you see that there's a little tiny sort of like almost like a mouse hole, but it's got like a little flip up door on it, and you hear a boom, and the door pops up, and an animated cookie, a cookie person, a little animated gingerbread cookie, holding a rolled up tiny piece of paper. It pops out of that little hole, and one of the priests who's there with you looks over there in surprise and goes over to, he takes the paper and then kind of just like kicks the cookie back into the hole. He's not actually that gentle. He's just like boom. But he reads it. He kind of frowns in disbelief and then And he shows it to one of the others, and they're like, "Really? All right. Uh, oh, uh, most welcome guests. You have been invited to an audience with the great Sitslebik himself for some reason, so you are welcome to come with us if that's what you want, or
Yeah, sure.
all right."
That's
Lynn just
incredible.
represses this like fangirl squeak. I'm fine.
Mhm.
Sure.
I wish I had
Yeah.
been able to prepare the proper list of questions.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Is that cookie okay?
Cookie?
You didn't see the
Cookie person?
cookie? Yeah, that you kicked him pretty hard. That was kind of mean.
well, he's a cookie.
Yeah, but he has feelings
How do you know?
because I know these things.
Do you?
Oh yeah,
You do?
I do.
She does.
I know.
It never
Well,
hurts
we
to be
shouldn't keep
nice.
Lord Sitzelbeck waiting.
I'm gonna ask him about that cookie. That's my question.
They open up a side door that leads to a set of spiral stairs going down, and they said, you know, it's going to be a little ways. So if you can't see in the dark, maybe put your hand on the shoulder of someone who can.
All right, I'll
My
go
dancing
first.
lights.
Yeah, I need help.
I'll
Somebody
go
can.
first, and
Well,
then you guys can go behind me if you're
Who
dancing
else
Sinhorn should
needs
lights.
help?
probably carry my
I can
friend.
carry the dead guy. You can put your hand on my shoulder because I can see. I have blind sight.
I have my
Oh.
dancing lights too. So there's 4 of them. I can.
I mean, Nedra,
So we
you
make
can-
it down the stairs. We have
Yeah.
Yeah.
two people
Yeah.
Let's just go.
that can
Yeah.
see and
So you
dance
descend.
15
lights.
spells
you
and 200
descend
I guess
explanations
quite
I'll
later.
be
a long
taking
way.
up the rear.
Yeah. So yes, you go down the stairs. It takes a long time because you go really far down, and then you emerge into a tunnel, and it's like a whole underground city down there. You see,
Wow.
and it seems to be mostly kobolds. You see some other races down there. There's a handful of dwarves. You see some dark elves, but it's 90% kobolds. And they are all, they don't all seem like they were there waiting for you. Some of them seem like they were just going about their business. But all of them do stop to watch and stare at you as you go by. And we're talking as you are led through some of these like underground thoroughfares here. There are thousands of them.
Oh,
Do they look nice?
This
Well,
is so cool, you
define
guys.
nice.
Like nicer than the people outside?
Well, they are staring at you. So I guess you be the judge.
I just wave to them like as we
Okay.
like, hey, how you
I'm
doing?
a performer.
Hi.
This is what I live for.
Okay, this is a bit more impressive.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, there's
Hi.
the staring seems to give you the impression of people saying like, "What is this?" Like, if anything else, it's a little bit like the reaction of the other priests when they got that message. It's like, "Wait, what's happening? This seems strange." And so they're watching almost more like out of like interest in novelty because they don't seem to understand what's happening here. You are obviously outsiders, and yet you're now being led down here. You don't seem to belong. You don't know what you're doing, but you're being led to a place of importance, and they're like, what's going on there? But none of them talk to you, though. And
Maybe they're all just grouchy here. I don't know.
And so at a certain point, they lead you to this big, complicated intersection that has like 9 different little like alleyways that come to it. And they say, and now we're going to have to ask you, please, to surrender your weapons and submit to blindfolds.
blindfold.
That's well.
Oh,
I mean, What are we gonna
That's
do?
what it takes.
There's thousands of them. It's not like we could fight them all off anyway. So I will comply.
I comply.
So yeah,
fine.
they so basically a handful of kobolds carrying these big shields that seem to have dragon scales on them and like spears come and to collect them, and they have to have you kneel down, all of you except Nedry, to so for them to affix blindfolds on you, and they say thank you for your cooperation. Please follow us, and you know they have you they have you hold hands basically in like a chain, and you are led another almost half a mile that way through various turns, and then eventually you get the sense that you're entering a much larger space, and the air has gotten notably cooler and like more humid down here. You've descended quite a long way, several hundred feet from where you initially entered, at least. And as you are kind of ushered in here, one of them nudges you, Zinhorn, and says, "You can put him down now."
Okay, I put him down.
All right, and then you hear a large and powerful voice say, "You may remove your blindfolds. Thank you for your cooperation in ensuring the secrecy and security of this chamber." And as you all remove your blindfolds, you find yourselves in a dimly lit, enormous cavern with the stalagmites and stalactites. They don't look unnatural, but they look incredibly shaped. Like it looks like a designed aesthetic to it. Like there's like symmetrical patterns, and it's got a cool look, but it doesn't look artificial. It just looks like someone who's capable of making it form like that did. And there at the center of this enormous platform at a far end of the cave, about 60 feet away, you see a gargantuan bronze dragon looking down at you. And he looks down at you, and he sees that you've all removed your blindfolds, and then he kind of just raises a scaly brow.
Really impressive.
Carolina just grabs the nearest person and is just like staring with big eyes. This is so cool.
I will kneel.
Finally! I was beginning to think that none of you knew any of the protocols.
Kneel immediately.
You know,
There are a lot of different protocols. I've read about a lot of them. Never really practiced all that many. Oh, sorry.
Yank
I'm kneeling now.
Nedry down.
So, you've brought a dead man that you wish to see alive again. And you brought him to me just out of a convenient location. Am I meant to believe that that's the truth?
Well, it is the truth.
it is the truth, Lord Sitslebik. We did not seek to trouble you personally. We simply were trying to, we failed him in getting him out of a very bad situation that we should have been able to get him out of. And he died. And we feel the need to set that right. It is also possible that he holds some information that is of importance to us.
Question. Let's say I were able to give you that information without bringing him back. Or I could bring him back, but he would not be able to provide you the information. Which of those options would you choose?
Well, I still feel really bad that he died.
I feel very
I
bad
feel
that he died.
partially responsible for that.
Death is
Although
a
we're really after the
necessary
information.
thing. Yeah, I'm with Andrew. I mean, death is a necessary part of life.
Well, that's not what I said. I mean, it may be actually true from a certain point of view, but the information that this person holds answers a lot of questions, we hope. And frankly, I'm sure that there's a lot of questions you could answer too. I'd love to ask you a few of them.
Be right back.
Here's my concern. I gather from all of that you are no more educated on the circumstances than we are here. I suspect you do know much, but you do not understand it. And so that is what I would ask of you. Not gold, not treasure, not kneeling, but I wish to know what you know about what is happening to the world right now.
Mm.
Well, I think that's what we're trying to find out. We know something is happening, but we don't know exactly what. We have a direction of where to start looking.
Have you ever heard of Dinethir?
Otherwise known as Dawn's Tear.
Right.
I know it as a myth.
It may not be a myth.
I think there are people who wonder about your own existence being a myth. And in the same way that you are here in front of us, I think there's a lot more truth to this Dinethir than mere story.
And I think people have gone to great lengths to make sure that everyone just thinks it's a myth.
Why?
It's power they don't want to share.
Some
If-
things are
It's dangerous to some degree.
some things are too dangerous for everyone to know. I don't even think I want to know this, but I don't.
Well, I
have a
want to
choice.
know, but there are dangers to knowing things, but I think the dangers of not knowing things is much more important in this case. And there are things which were forgotten, which didn't want to stay forgotten. And now I think they're starting to unforget themselves. Sorry, I didn't sleep very well.
Do you know who that is? That dead man that we brought to you, do you know who he is?
No. But I'll tell you what I do know. There is a corruption in the world itself. I can smell it. I can taste it in the air, in the earth, in the water.
That's wonderful.
And you all reek of it.
Oh,
That one,
can you tell us?
pointing to the dead body, most of all.
Can you tell us what it
Mm.
tastes like or look like? I've been unable to exactly extract its properties, and I'm trying to
snarls
be
at
able to
you.
detect it. There's
There,
There was the other gem as well. That the other person that was trapped, and I wonder if this one is corrupted. Maybe that's not. He did say there was a way to remove it without losing life, which I really hope is true. But the person that's trapped in the gem, what if they're not corrupted? What if that's why he was trapped?
We're trying to find a way to remove the corruption without killing people.
we faced it in the tower when you guys found me. There were nightmare creatures. and now we're all cursed with nightmares.
Hmm.
And
The person,
we found a book, like an old book that tells a story about what happened a long, long time ago and the lengths they went to stop that corruption. And that man, and also the man that is trapped in this gem that we have, were in that book. They were,
Where
we
do you
thought they
have the
were.
book right now?
Nedry, did you give it back?
Unless you asked for it, he'd keep it.
So you're carrying it around? Like you put it in the backpack or?
He'd be tying it to his other books. He wears
Okay.
books on his thighs.
Okay. Then you
So,
have it.
like, do you take it out and show him, or you're talking about this book? What book
Yeah,
is this?
I will like nudge you with my elbow and be like, show
Oh,
me.
this one.
Show him the book.
And you kind of unstrap it from the others and kind of lift it up.
This one, it's a very old book. I know you're sensing corruption, which I'd really like to figure out how you're doing that. But the thing is, there's probably some sort of story which would explain this better, and kind of looks desperately over at Carolina. But the idea is this person was fighting against that corruption and lost. But we think that they can help fight it again. And they know much more about it than we do, because we're having some difficulty understanding and trying to remove it.
When we read the book, it caused a glitch in that sort of stopped time for us. And when we finished and closed the book, we found out that it wasn't just us, that it had affected everyone.
And there was also that storm a
It's
while
like
ago,
a
too.
ripple in a pond.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or the breaking of a seal.
Yeah. We
It's
also have
also
a
a distinct possibility.
we also have a really weird prisoner who sent us after that book and said that he would tell us what we wanted to know if we brought it back to him and put it in his hands. But we didn't trust him, so we read the book first. And we think that that might be exactly what he wanted.
Here's what I will say. It seems to me that you do not as yet have a solution to this corruption that I have sensed, not merely here, but throughout all that I can survey. It is within yourselves presently. As such, I would have you not stay in my domain, for I fear that you are increasing this level of corruption everywhere you go. But I will, in exchange for this knowledge, as promised, raise the individual you have brought before me, if that is what you wish. But I warn you, I smell on that body as much as the rest of you have and more of this corruption.
Maybe it's not a good idea, you guys.
Well, wait a minute. I mean,
I mean,
I know that we're good, and we do smell of this corruption, like we stepped in something. And it doesn't necessarily mean that this one is evil. It just means that they've caught the horse dung. I'm sorry, I'm not good with stories.
Who has the diamond?
I think I was holding that.
Can you take it out and maybe show it to him?
Yeah.
Maybe he can see more about it than we can. And
This diamond holds a very high resurrection spell, and my friends have determined that it also holds a companion of the one who is dead. And the one I did a speak with dead, and he said, "Don't let this guy in the gem out." And we're wondering if maybe you can uh, sense more or less corruption um, on the one that is trapped in the gem.
I would answer you if I could, but I sense nothing within the gem. I do not doubt what you say, but I am not able to perceive it.
Yeah, it's a magical barrier. It's rather difficult to penetrate. I have a few theories on that.
Well, if the one that's really corrupted said, under no circumstance should you release that guy, maybe do the opposite.
Maybe Rubino's even more corrupted. Maybe he's like the full corruption, like
Yeah,
the
but
brink
When
of
you
no
say
return.
when you say you can sense the corruption, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being you couldn't sense anymore and 1 being a bare whiff, would you rate us as higher or lower than our dead friend?
Lower.
Oh, a lot lower?
Yes.
all
Oh,
right. Um,
Yeah, we're not bringing him back, guys.
no, I think we're going to have to try the pipe and see if we can figure it out for ourselves.
There maybe that there's a tell them about that.
So I pull out the pipe and show it to Sitslebik, and I explain what happened when I attempted to attune with it and how I got pulled into
So
this other
he
place.
actually he kind of holds out a enormous like clawed hand to sort of to stop you, but he's not looking as angry at this point. He says, "As much as I typically desire knowledge and requested it from you, in fact, what you have told me so far only persuades me further that the deeper one's knowledge of this corruption goes, it leaves that much more inroads for the corruption to take hold. I
That's
would
true.
warn you against digging too deep for these secrets, though I understand the temptation can be intense. And once corrupted, the desire to purify oneself. I am not convinced myself that further knowledge is that path. I may be mistaken, but what I would ask in the meantime is that whatever you wish to do, you wait until you have left my domain to do it. I can assist you with a expeditious travel."
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And that would be
Anything
wonderful.
you can do about the airship?
We think we're being followed by an airship.
What would you have me do with the airship?
I do you know any way that we could maybe hide our presence from scrying eyes?
I think at present it would be very difficult for you to do that. If they are not scrying on any of you in your group, you certainly have enough distinctive objects with you, not least of which is that incredibly bizarre tower that you carry.
Yeah, that belonged to the guy inside the diamond.
I suspect you are hidden while inside it, but the tower itself is not.
Yeah.
you can sense this corruption, which I'm really amazed with, although it's probably something inherently part of your spiritual. Sorry. Uh, do you know of anything else that can do so? I'm not able to sense it, and it bothers me. Either a creature who might be sensitive to it, or some spell or object that might be able to detect its presence.
He kind of considers this. what my feeling right now is that such a tool would not be useful to you. Because if I were to give you a stone that glowed red in the presence of corruption, to you, I would be handing you a red stone.
Mm.
But
What
if
was
we
he
handed
on?
that stone to someone else and it still was red, then we'd know something at least. Or left the stone in a place where we can see it from a distance.
Mm.
Can you see any way that we could get rid of some of this corruption right now?
I brought you down here because I hoped that you could tell me that.
I'll gladly share if I figure it out, if that's what you're worried about.
I'm sorry that we brought corruption into your domain.
It is by my request that you are here in my presence. You need not apologize for that.
Lord Sitslebik, if we find a way of removing corruption, is there a way that we can contact you to get that information to you?
You are a cleric, yes?
Yes.
Then you have means. The descending spell, you could do that. The sending spell would work.
Okay.
So he says, I will perform my magic on you and send you wherever you would like to go within a 50-mile radius. And I will do this now, but I will leave you with a warning. You have been bitten by a venomous snake. Be wary that you do not let that venom turn you into yet another venomous snake.
I don't know if that's. Oh, I think I got it.
Sequential, how far do you think it is to the workshop, to the laboratory you came from?
I mean, it's more than 50 miles, but
Yeah.
you could certainly be on your way in that direction.
Yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't want to leave our horse behind. Can you make sure it ends up in the same place?
Kind of thinks for a moment. Yes.
Oh, good. It was very expensive. Well, sort of.
Thank you.
In theory.
And I elbow Nedry.
The
What?
airship. It is Imperial. Yes?
Yes.
Believe
Probably.
so.
Yes.
I could delay it. I could destroy it. What would you ask of me?
Delay.
Delay.
Yeah.
Don't
We
know
seek
that
to
they're
preserve
hostile.
life as much as we can. They pursue us, and we do not know why.
Yeah.
But
Other
they're just
than
watching.
where,
That's it.
well, so far they're just watching.
Besides, I might want to ask them questions someday if they actually know something.
I think that's why they're following us, because they want to know what we know.
Well, if
My
we could only
magic will
exchange
give you a
notes, so
head.
much easier.
My magic will give you a head start, but I suspect they are able to follow, and they are able to travel faster than you can on foot. They will continue the pursuit, but I will give you time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
for everything so very much.
It's really awesome.
There is a poison flooding into our world. And I do not think that you it does not take an act of malice to break a dam. an accident can do as well. And the flood is underway.
Well, we may be new, but we're dedicated. The pocket protectors are on the case.
I say, with all of the sincerity that I can muster, that I wish you well in your endeavors. And I pray that you are able to maintain yourselves in the process. Where did you want to go? One of you choose a location and focus on it. I will send you all there.
Choose the form of your destroyer.
Right.
Oh man, I was thinking of a bagel.
So Sequential's original workshop or
That's what
Emerson?
I'm
I mean,
Because
he can
I
be in
feel
that
like
Yeah,
direction.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Emersham is more than 50 miles away. But you
Right.
Well, they
can,
both are, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
but you could be on the way.
Do we want to go to the workshop or Emerson, guys?
What were we hoping to find in Emerson when we started out in that direction?
That's
All
sort of the
kinds of stuff.
Expedition and
Temple
yeah.
of Marushka.
Yeah,
There's
there's
a
all
lot of
kinds of
things there to
stuff there.
find.
Mhm.
All
But
right, let's
in a
let's-
way, it's sort of on the way to go nearer to the workshop.
Well, it's more like the workshop is on the way to Emersham, sort of.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I was
a
trying
little
to say.
bit out of the
You want-
way, but in the same general direction.
Yeah. Do you want to head there
Mhm.
or
I
skip
think
it?
so.
Let's
All
go to
right.
the workshop.
We're
I
gonna
mean,
head
so-
toward the workshop.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
So I think. Hang on, let me. Pulling up. So he's sensing all of this hesitation, and he suggests there is an intersection of the roads going south from Gorn to Pashan, and then an intersection that would travel to Emersham. I can send you to that intersection.
Perfect.
Yeah, that
Yes.
sounds great.
Great.
Well, that will do. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I hope for your success. Otherwise, you have my sympathies. And then you feel the cavern around you starting to like swirl with almost it almost looks like fumes distorting the air like a heat mirage. And you start to gradually realize that your bodies seem like they are transforming into this same gas, and you're getting caught up and swirled up in this whirlpool, this whirlwind of air that travels out through these various tunnels. And you're just like, it's happening so fast that you can't really make any conscious awareness of everything you're passing, but you realize that you have entered, left the underground and are flying through the night sky, and it's just darkness with the occasional tiny lights below. And then as you are able to concentrate again, you find yourself sort of condensing back into solid form and realizing that you are now standing at a large crossroads
With a horse.
with a horse.
Did the dead
Wow.
body come with us, or did he keep it?
No, it's there with you.
I was like, I don't think he
Oh, my
wants to
luggage.
keep that one, but
I mean, you decided you did not want to bring it back, so.
Yeah.
He didn't want to keep him. Yuck.
Oh, yeah, he definitely did not want him.
Oh, boy.
That was a pretty impressive spell. I
Well,
wonder if you'll teach me that later.
the whole thing about the corruption has me very worried. I mean, I feel like we should keep our distance from.
people.
Everything.
Well, no, everything that's corrupted, like the tower.
Like the tower. I know. I was thinking the same
Like,
thing.
stop using it.
How do we know that it's corrupted though?
because that's how, I mean, were we corrupted before? Like, I didn't start having nightmares until we got the key. We
Well, I
slept in
did
there
s-
fine before that. So now that we're attuned to it,
Yeah. It may be the kind of thing where it's worth breaking the attunement and leaving it.
or
I'm
not,
not so sure about that. I think that once you've unsealed it, it's unsealed. You have to fight it. You can't just walk away from
I
it.
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
no,
Uh,
I think that we should stop using it though.
I think we should stop using it, and I think that we might consider having Zaleen break the attunement and leave the tower and the key
No,
behind.
I
But
think we
we will
need it.
still have to.
No,
We will
we
still have
can't.
to fight the nightmares.
There's
We-
too much out here that can destroy us. And we need something safe like that to go back to.
But is it safe? I mean, all I see when you guys sleep is the horrible dreams that you have, and everyone is exhausted every time, and that's
But
just going to
there's
keep
no
happening.
proof that being away from the tower will do anything about that.
I'm gonna
We might
start
just have the
walking
nightmares
towards
because we're
Emerson.
corrupted.
yeah, we can definitely walk and talk.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can test this. We could leave the
Although-
tower behind for a night and see if we still have dreams.
Slowly. My movement's moving very
Yeah.
slow.
You could ride the horse. I have a level of exhaustion too, so
I don't think the
Yeah,
horse will
not
ride
moving
us
real
all
fast
or
either.
allow us to ride
Yeah,
it.
I think I have two because I
Yeah,
didn't sleep.
2 levels
So,
is speed. Your speed is halved.
Yeah, the horse needs to rest.
so do I.
Yeah.
I
So
did
we're
not
walking
sleep.
slow. But I mean, so he said, it seems that the more knowledge you obtain increases the darkness surrounding you. So it may not necessarily be related to objects.
I don't think that's really what he said.
That is what he
The
said,
thing is-
Nedry.
the thing
and
That's
is-
literally what he said.
that is the
But
same
that's
thing
not-
the adversary said.
But it's not exactly that.
I know.
All knowledge can potentially be dangerous. That's
Sure.
true. But it doesn't mean that having more knowledge is automatically dangerous. And as we look into the corruption, we know that we're attracting its attention, for lack of a better term. But that doesn't mean we can just ignore it or try to not know it. We have to face it head on. We have to go through it. The only way to truly defeat a knowledge puzzle is with more knowledge. And possibly some spells and swords too, but that's not the only part of it.
Yeah.
Ignorance
I'm
is
just
not
saying,
bliss. It's just
I'm-
dangerous.
yeah.
I think that we need to sit down for a little while and take a rest. I know you guys already did, but you're still tired.
I've been up more than a day.
I have too, and I don't have. If you don't want to sleep in the tower, I can create a space, a safe space for us to sleep in, but we will need people to be on guard.
well, I've already slept. I've rested, so I can stay awake.
Let's try your safe space.
Okay.
Even black ribbons would be better than the tower right now.
There's no ribbons in here. There are no ribbons in my safe
I'm
space.
happy to put up with black ribbons if I can.
Is the ground beside us still that marshy land, or are we near?
No,
more
not where
forest?
you are. You are south of that region.
Then we should probably get off the road and be safer to not be seen.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. We do have a head start, but it's only 50 miles, and that ship can move fast.
Okay, but I mean, we're going to be moving extra slow. That's
I mean, so well,
sequential, and I will both be moving at half our speed.
right. Well, I'm not moving fast either. So I was thinking, if you wouldn't mind it, you could maybe go in the bag and sleep in Nedry's bag.
We might be able to fit the horse in there too. It needs to sleep.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if the horse will fit in there, you can try it.
I'm not exactly sure how that works. Technically, it's a trap, so I'm not sure if it has to fit through the door. Or you could put it in the tower.
Yeah, we'd have to squish it through just like we did with Buster, and that was not easy. And I mean, horses, you know,
Well, what if you made the tower huge? And then the door would be huge.
I don't know. We can try it. I'm tired, Nedry. Just- I don't want anything to do with the tower, and I don't want to corrupt the horse with the tower.
I
mean,
think
now-
if we're worried about corruption, the horse is probably already.
Yeah. Brief camera
That's the
pan
least of
over
our
to
worries.
Evan, who is listening to all of this with just wide eyes.
Yeah.
Well, we
He
did try
wanted
to
to
keep him
come.
from coming along.
That's true. We tried to stop him. Do you want me to make the tower big?
Evan
would be
kind of
very,
says,
very
"Yeah,
large.
kind of."
Are you gonna go in there and sleep?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
I can make a nice little hut for us to
I
sleep
think
in.
that might be the better option, but just know that they are going to catch up with us.
Well, so far they haven't done anything. I mean,
All I was doing was telling you,
I know.
so everyone's aware of it.
I mean, I will sleep in the backpack if that's easier for you guys. You can keep going, but I do have to try to meditate and try to at least not get another exhaustion level.
All right, so
I think we should take shelter until it's dawn so they can get their long rest, and then we'll all be back on the same sort of schedule again.
yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So I will build my little fancy structure
Okay.
made from shadow bricks.
In the
And-
dense trees around here, I hope.
Sure. I mean,
I don't know what this place looks like, so.
it's like 100 feet total. So it's like 10-foot cubes.
Wait, so
And I
what?
can make them.
Oh, okay. You're just sort of blocking off an area with the sort of
Yeah.
walls. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep. It's like it's like 10-foot cubes, and you can create it into something complex, like actually make it into a structured building with like a roof and everything.
So because it's structured cubes, it's like a Minecraft building then.
Yeah.
Made of shadows.
Yeah. So you spend some
cubes.
time on that. We don't need to belabor the logistics of it because you have
Yep.
just plenty of time to establish it, and you all kind of have this little protected sanctuary in there, and it's very dark and quiet once it's kind of all completed. But at the same time, I think even like for all of you, the dark and quiet in here is actually kind of calming and reassuring. It's a little bit like when you've got yourself all snuggled up in bed and you turn out the lights, as opposed to a scary darkness. Or
There are actually beds in there. Like you can create furniture from the structure. So there are beds in there and a door and everything. So it's not terribly uncomfortable.
So, in any case, I think it is a relatively calming place to be. And so, I think probably those of you who are staying awake are kind of just on a vigil to make sure nothing bad's happening. But we have Zaleen and Zinhorn trying to sleep. Okay. Zaleen, you find that you're starting to remember things from who you were before. And it's almost like you're watching a play in a dark auditorium, but you can see up on the stage are reenactments of things that you intuitively understand to be your memories that you had lost. But what you start to see is this person that seems to be you going around and whispering unseen in the ear of various people going through their lives, and then watching them do terrible things as a result.
Hmm.
You see yourself whispering in the ear of a a mill worker who then the next day takes a big wrench and starts wrecking all the machinery in the mill. You see yourself whispering in the ear of um, a child who then starts picking on the other children the next day. And you see yourself whispering in the ear of a town mayor who then starts to pass draconian regulations and taxes the next day. And you can make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 14.
All right. Yeah. Um, that's going to be another level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Zinhorn,
Yes.
you are having a dream as well. And in this dream, it's a dream about you trying to pray to Rushama, but suddenly discovering that somehow through your prayer and your connection to Rushama, you are spreading the corruption to Rushama. But the reason I mention it in kind of this offhand way is because that's how it feels to you in the dream. It's not like the last time, where it felt real or even hyper real. Now it feels faded somehow. Like like someone is trying to tell you a story, but you we have on a video here we have James distracting our crucial moment, but we like to see him anyway. But so this is like remembering a dream that you had that scared you when you were a kid or something. It doesn't feel real. You intuitively understand that that's what's happening. Like this is beyond having just like made the saving throw where you recognize you're dreaming. The dream itself feels muted and weakened. And I will allow you to make an insight check.
Okay. Eight.
Okay. Um, you're not sure why, but for some reason, this dream that you're having, like you're having the dream, but it's weak compared to the last time.
I think it's because we kicked the nightmare's ass.
Could be. You don't know for sure. You don't have any sort of like supernatural insight telling you that, but you can certainly draw your own conclusion. In any case, though, you don't need to make a saving throw, and you are. I don't think you had a level of exhaustion before, but you're able to
I
get.
did not.
Yeah, you're able to
Did
get a
not sleep.
night's sleep.
I would like to try and take control of the dream
Okay.
and see if I can draw the nightmare out because I want to kick its ass.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so let's see. I'm trying to think. In this context, I think I'm going to have you first um, make a wisdom saving throw for this, right? You've already realized that the dream is not able to affect you tonight, but as you try to be more active beyond just having resisted it. Yeah, so you discover as you sort of try to pursue this, like to try to say, where is this coming from? I want to try to go after it. What you find yourself like winding through some sort of a narrow tunnel, and then coming up against this like a big window where you're looking down, and what you see over there is it's as though you're seeing the maze that you traveled through while you were in the pipe, and you can see yourself moving through the tunnels of the maze, and you can see the nightmare chasing behind you, but falling further and further behind. And I am going to allow you to make an intelligence check here, looking at the maze.
So, okay, intelligence check. 14.
Okay. You think that this is not just a representation of the maze. You think this is the maze. And you don't think you can memorize the whole thing in the few moments that you're seeing it here. But you think you have enough that you could do better at it the next time you tried it.
Okay.
And further, you feel like your subconscious, as you took control, is telling you that's what you should do.
All right.
All right, and so I think you wake up then, regardless. But
After completing a long rest.
yeah, and I think as those of you, Zinhorn is waking up from the long sleep. The rest of you have been kind of waiting for the sun to come up. And I think there's a moment where you sort of you've been awake, but you kind of just sort of blink your eyes and look around and realize, wait, okay, the shadow structure just disappeared, and where is Zaylene? She's gone. But to where?
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Too much darknesses.
Oh, did she take the tower with her?
No. In fact, all of her things are sitting there, like in a pile.
I will pick them up. Keep them
Do you
safe
think
with
she,
her.
she left? Or was taken?
Well, she
We'll find her.
may have needed to spend some time with the Mistress of the Dark.
Is that how that works?
Do I sense anything wrong?
Make a religion check.
Okay.
With advantage.
Okay. Got a
I
14.
do know stuff about religion. Do I have any idea
What's
that
all the
this is how this works?
14s?
I don't know. Since I wasn't about 14.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of try to reach out through Rushama to get a sense of like what's happening here, and I think you get kind of a reassuring like confirmation that your suspicion would be accurate, is that the Mistress of the Dark has taken her.
The Mistress of the Dark has taken her.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. She
Just
gets
have
to
to
commune with her
trust that
deity
she'll be
one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. Anyway, I have some excellent news for you.
Oh,
Yeah. The nightmare tried to affect me in my dreams, and it was extremely weakened. Like I could tell immediately this, like, it wasn't even my dream. It was like remembering a dream I had when I was a child. And I think having pulled the thing out of the pipe and killed it, even though it went back inside me, it is severely weakened. I also got to look at the maze, and I think I need to attune with the pipe and go back in there. And I think there's a way to get this thing out of me.
Do we see the airship around?
No.
Sitslebik said it would be delayed, but we don't know how long.
True.
We should get moving.
We should.
Yeah, make for the mountains.
Let's make for the workshop, and we'll find when we get there. I guess I'll take out the pipe and try to attune with it.
Well, we'll see what we find first. It might not be safe enough for that.
Well, I mean,
Every place we go
Yeah.
is inviting, warm, and safe. I don't.
I would
understand
also
what the
point out
problem
that
is.
the dream was not necessarily weaker because of pulling it out of your head, but we didn't sleep in the tower last night. So
Well, there's that too.
that's still a possibility.
Yeah. So, and we don't know what Zaylene's dream was like because she went off with the Mistress of Dark. So,
I mean, not
Yeah.
sleeping in the tower meant that
Yeah.
Zaling disappeared, so I'd put it on the negative column.
yeah.
well, in any case, I think as the pocket protectors set their sights to the southeast, we will leave them there for now and return for more of their adventures on so many levels next week.
So many levels.
Oh, many
So
levels.
Many levels.
So many.
All right.
Like a lot.
All right.
All of them.